This is the Garmin 310XT. It came out in 2009. It looks like a tiny computer duct taped to your wrist. And somehow, I'm still using it in 2026. Now, obviously, this thing is ancient tech by today's standards. No AMOLED screen, no music, no touchscreen, no smartwatch features, and honestly, it wasn't pretty when it was new. But after all these years, I think the 310XT still gets one thing very right. It focuses on the stuff that actually matters. So today I want to talk about what it's like using the Garmin 310XT in 2026. What still works, what doesn't, and why. When I need something absolutely reliable, I still turn to this archaic piece of tech. Back when it launched, the 310XT was a huge deal. This was one of Garmin's first serious GPS multi-sport watches. It was aimed at runners and triathletes. At the time, being able to track runs, bike rides, and swims all on one device was pretty impressive. And yes, it's gigantic. Like, hilariously gigantic. But that giant size actually had a purpose. Huge battery, easy to read screen, physical buttons you can press while running or wearing gloves, and waterproofing for triathlons. And when I say waterproof, I'm not talking about delicate, hopefully it'll survive a splash or maybe I can get some sweat on it waterproof. I'm talking about World War II submarine waterproof. In 2026, a lot of those original strengths still hold up surprisingly well. But the biggest thing? Simple reliability. This watch turns on and it just works. The GPS is slower than modern watches, sure, but once it locks in, it's still accurate enough for normal training. The battery life is honestly quite respectable. It's one of the few watches that I can actually use for a 12-hour or longer run. Modern smartwatches do a little bit of everything: notifications, sleep coaching, stress tracking, an AI readiness score, probably your taxes next year. But the 310XT just tracks workouts. That simplicity is weirdly refreshing. Another thing I still love is the screen visibility. In direct sunlight, this old school display is actually easier to read than a lot of the modern glossy screens. And the older I get, the more I appreciate those big numbers. And because the interface is so simple, there's almost zero distraction. No app overload, no endless menus, no stupid subscription features hiding behind paywalls. Just start, run, and save. Honestly, there's something kind of nice about that. Now, using this thing in 2026 is definitely not perfect. The biggest issue is syncing. The 310XT was designed around Garmin's old Ant Plus USB stick system, which means getting workouts onto modern devices can feel like digital archaeology. Depending upon your setup, you might need old Garmin software, community tools, compatibility workarounds, and let's face it, a lot of patience. And that charging clip, that thing's terrifying. One accidental bump and the watch disconnects instantly. Also, compared to modern watches, the GPS acquisition is slower, the interface feels ancient, there's no mapping, no wrist heart rate, no music, and definitely no smart features. This is not a lifestyle smartwatch. It's basically a dedicated training appliance. So I think the reason that I still like the 310XT is because it represents a different philosophy. Modern fitness watches sometimes feel overloaded with features. The 310XT feels focused. When I wear it or attach it to a pack, I'm not thinking about notifications or recovery scores or whether my body battery, whatever that is optimized. I'm just running, hiking, or cycling. And weirdly, that makes the experience a lot more enjoyable. Also, there's something satisfying about using old tech that still works, especially in a world where devices are constantly replaced every 2 years. This watch is over 15 years old now, and it still tracks runs, and every run I've ever done with it is still stored and still downloadable. Honestly, that's kind of amazing. So, no, the Garmin 310XT is definitely not the best running watch in 2026, but it might still be one of the most honest ones. It does its job, it stays out of its own way, and somehow, after all this time, it still earns a place in my rotation. If you've still got one of these devices running, let me know down in the comments below. I genuinely want to know how many 310XT survivors are still out there. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more weird old tech, running gear, gadgets, and other things like us that just refuse to die. And maybe, just maybe, I'll see you on the next video.